Well, good morning and welcome everyone. My name is Tracy Wynter. I am a yoga teacher, an attorney, a fitness instructor. And my mom's gonna be like, why didn't you start with the attorney? You led with the yoga teacher. When Carol asked me if I could do a presentation, what was on my mind a lot was individuality and how a lot of us kind of try to hide who we are to fit in. And I want to work that in with what the Bible talks about, as well as just wellness. So we're gonna look at just individuality and how we should be celebrating our uniqueness. And we're also gonna work on some wellness aspects. Okay, I need my guy.
Oh, no,
It's me.
here it is. Come on.
There it is, it's back.
Yeah.
Need one more cord.
Oh, it's timed out because we haven't do anything. This is the same thing. Okay. So we're all set?
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to talk about uniqueness, and we're also going to practice some wellness at the end of this. So just different aspects of wellness that everyone can do. So don't worry about having to do splits or that. I'll teach you how. By the end of this, we're all doing splits. Just kidding. All right, so we're going to talk about individuality. So what is individuality? It's what makes you distinctively you, and what distinguishes you from everyone else. So just think about who you are, and how you're different from everyone else. Like the obvious ways is DNA. Like our DNA is different from everyone else. I'm being reminded to go over, but I feel like I'm blocking the screen. Can you guys see? I'm over here? Okay. Our DNA is different from everyone else, but what, in researching this, I found it fascinating that 99.9% of our DNA is identical from person to person, but it's that 0.1% that makes all the variation in the genome, which I thought was really fascinating. And obviously fingerprints, all our fingerprints are different. But I have to say, I've always wondered about that, like how'd they know that everyone in the world's fingerprints are different from each other? And also just how we are. You know, what makes you laugh, what makes you smile. Like some people may like All My Children, some people may like Star Trek, some people may like both. Just how we are, just different from person to person. You know, are you shy, are you extroverted, do you like attention, do you not like attention? So even the Bible talks about individuality and the different gifts that we have. Some people have the gift to teach, some people have the gift of prophecy, some people have the gift of tongues. So we were created in a way to actually be different from each other and to be unique from each other. I almost think of it almost like a puzzle. Like we're all pieces of a puzzle, and you need all the pieces to make the puzzle whole, but you don't want to have all the pieces. They all can't be the same. And we'll go back to that puzzle again. By the way, the length of this, so this gets a little interactive. So the length of this depends on how interactive. So this could be 15 minutes or it could be a lot longer. All right, so talking about how we're unique and how we are created unique, I think it's very ironic that a lot of us try not to be unique because we want to fit in and want to look like everyone else. So I was thinking about plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery, and cheek implants have gone up by 1,258% between 2007 and 2020 because people are trying to have a certain look.
Wow.
Chin augmentations, which I was thinking, people are actually doing this? Like I know like the obvious surgeries, but chin augmentations have gone up by 194%. Pectoral implants, and I'm thinking they're talking about men. That's gone up by 58% between 2007 and 2020. And obviously other surgeries as well have gone up, like you see with the plumping of the lips and just different things, as people are trying to look the same. Sometimes when you look at different friend groups, they kind of all look the same. The clothes they wear, the way they wear their hair, everything. And it's like they're trying to get away from their uniqueness. But beyond the physical, people also personality-wise, they will sometimes suppress who they are because they don't want to stand out. They may not admit to, and this is kind of sad, sometimes someone who's really smart, especially middle school, high school, may hide how smart they are because they don't want to be picked on, and depending on their circle of friends, that may make them stand out. So So it's just ironic that we were uniquely made, but at the same time, we're trying to hide our uniqueness. All right, so we've established.
There's your wife there.
So we've established that individual life, that we're unique, but what about objects? So what are some unique objects that you can think of? And then we're gonna have some slides to discuss. Any ideas of things that are unique that pop up?
Fruit,
Car.
flowers, is that
Flower? Fruit, oh, just different, anything, any objects.
Cars.
Cars? Okay. Cars are very unique. Anything
Clothes.
else?
Houses.
Houses and clothes.
Snowflakes.
Snowflakes, oh, that's from nature. That's actually, I was gonna think of that, that's good. So cars, flowers, I think it's interesting the men went to cars.
Of course.
And we'll see.
Oh.
Cars.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what's the most expensive car that's out there?
It doesn't trust.
It doesn't even fly, I know.
No, that's not the test.
This is from an article from motorone.com from about 2 years ago. A Bugatti, $18.7 million after taxes. This is one car. So I'm thinking, why is this car so expensive? They make, what I've read, about 50 of these cars a year. So they don't make too many of them, so it's rare. And I thought, what was the most expensive car ever sold? And this is actually, discovered this, may have been after, no, it was right after I saw you, Karen. May 19th, 2022, I found this article where a 1955 Mercedes-Benz sold for $142 million at an auction. I mean, this is a car. That's going for $142. What's that?
A used car.
A used car. It's not even
A
new.
very used car.
But can you imagine, with $142 million, people are paying for a car, or so much
That's
to pay for a car.
Too much money.
Is that cash or on loan?
Do you take out a car note for this? I don't think so. So any other ideas of anything that is unique out there? Any other objects out there that's unique and different?
Churches.
Churches. I'm surprised the ladies haven't thought of this. The next one.
Hobbies.
Purse.
No. Oh, I forgot this slide. So why were the cars so expensive? Everything I read about them, they are described as being rare and exclusive. So if you own these cars, how would you secure them? Like if you owned a car that you just paid $142 million for, how would you secure it to keep it safe?
You lock it away.
Lock it in the garage.
Lock it in the garage.
Never tried it?
Put it in Jay Leno's garage.
So you wouldn't just have it out in your driveway. You would do something to secure it because of how much money.
You don't drive it.
You don't drive it. You pay $142 million, don't
Well,
drive it.
when they have the exotic car show here, 2/3 of the cars are brought in truck.
And they, oh, they're not
Covers-
driven
They're
here.
not even outside where you can see them, they're close trucks, van trucks.
Isn't that something? Yeah, I guess it's just to have it.
Yeah,
All
they
right.
have, whether you realize, the exotic car show here also goes to Disney, and that's throughout Florida. And they have a meeting out there, and they have some pretty, last time I seen them out there, they had 20 Vipers. Now Viper, the only way you buy a Viper is you own the dealership, and you get 1 or 2 a year, and you never sell
Oh, see, I'm not even a car person. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
I can't even tell you what a Viper even look like.
them. Yeah.
Right.
All I know is if it gets me from point A to point B, I'm happy.
Most of us are.
Right, no, I'm being
It
too.
runs that far.
Yeah. So with the cars, again, what made them so expensive is that they're rare and exclusive. So not that many of them are out there. So any guesses what's next? I said the thing about the ladies'
The
hair.
winner, yeah, I can't.
No.
Glasses.
It's an object.
It's an object.
I
No.
don't know.
Jewelry?
We're not rare and exclusive kind of people.
Jewelry.
Versus.
Jewelry.
Jewelry, that's right.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Really go out, you got the cars, you got the jewelry. So the Oppenheimer blue diamond,
Oh,
so it's $3.93 million per carat.
That's good.
That's selling for $57.5 million, and this was the most expensive from what I found in my research. $1.2 million per carat went for $71.2 million. So, Why do you think they're so expensive?
Rare.
Very rare.
Very rare, that's right.
One of a kind.
So I looked at the pink diamond, when I saw it, incredibly rare, less than 0.1% of my diamonds are pink. And the reasons why it's so rare and exclusive. As for the blue, again, incredibly rare, and these are articles that describe them, incredibly rare, that's I have quotes. Less than 0.02% of my diamonds are blue. So that's why they're so expensive, because they're so rare and exclusive. So if you had a pink or blue diamond, how would you secure it?
And the
Safety.
safety.
Insurance.
Insurance?
Hide it and roll it in the nets.
Are people gonna eat the bowl?
That would be scary.
So you try to, so you'd hide it, put it away, but you do something to secure it. So you would never wear it. Much like the car, the expensive car you're not driving, the expensive jewelry you're not wearing, but you do something to secure it.
But you can talk about it.
That's why I like gossip.
The most expensive item ever sold at auction was this piece of artwork called the Salvator Mundi, Savior of the World, sold for $450 million. And I was looking up the insurance on this. Can you imagine what it's insured for? It was north of $700 million is what I was seeing for the insurance. I was trying to figure that one out. But why do you think this artwork is so expensive?
Rare and exclusive.
That's right.
But they're getting warmer because they're getting off in the right direction for the savior of the world.
That's right. That's right. And how would you secure it if you owned it?
Probably in a museum, I would think you put it in. Lock it up.
Lock it up. Isn't that interesting though, the things that are rare and exclusive that cost a lot, we wouldn't display it, we'd hide it. All right, so this painting is described, it's the last of Da Vinci's work. It's obviously just one of that, so it's exclusive, and I mentioned already, you secure it, you said by locking it up. So, next question. What is something that you have that is rare, that's in your possession?
My wife.
Good answer. Good answer.
Oh my God.
Good. You ain't possessing her. You may have her, but you ain't possessing her.
So what are you doing to secure?
Locking her up.
That was sweet.
Well, he made the points for the year, didn't he?
I know, wow.
I think your life, not only for the DNA, but for the importance that we have learned in the church.
Right, yeah, really good.
I once had a very rare baseball card.
Once.
I sold it for $3,000.
Yeah.
Probably worth more now.
Yeah.
Probably never said and sold.
Yeah.
Looking back, wish you had sold that.
So people put them in their safety deposit box if it's something that, you know, is like grandmother's brooch or something, I don't know. But,
Yeah.
so we're gonna hide it again, I guess,
We're hiding it,
or locking it up, I should say.
right. Okay. So, next slide, what I was going for, it's like you read my mind, is you! So it's only one of us out there, and even twins, and I didn't say this before, the fingerprints, I was reading that even twins, their fingerprints are different from each other. So we're all unique from each other, yet we don't seem to view ourselves the way we view that $18.7 million Bugatti or that Oppenheimer blue diamond. We don't see sometimes, some people do, but many of us don't view ourselves as this rare and lovingly made object from God. And sometimes we don't necessarily do all the right things to preserve ourselves. So that's the latter half of this. We're going to talk about ways to preserve ourselves. Right, so if there's only one of you, you are rare and exclusive. So it's a shame we don't apply the same standards that we do to objects that we do to ourselves. Because although there are lots of people running around, there's only one of you running around. It's like saying there are lots of cars on the road, but there's only a handful of Bugattis on the roads. But there's only one of you. So Bible verses I'm going to touch on that talk about the preciousness of life. So Genesis, we were made in God's image. John 20:31. We're gonna do a little meditation at the end. We're gonna come back to this. So God considers our life valuable and precious. In Psalms, you were fearfully and wonderfully made. So we were fearfully and wonderfully made. And again, I keep saying the same thing over and over, but we see an expensive car, we think, wow, look how that was made. But we don't look at each other and think, wow, look how we were made. And I think if we start to think of ourselves in that way, maybe we have a bit more respect for others, and also maybe a bit more respect for our own lives and how we treat ourselves. So our mindset should be, the Bible says we're sacred and valuable, then we should treat ourselves as such, and we don't always do that. So we should be taking actions that reflect this great gift of life. So what are different actions that we could do to reflect this great gift of life? I think that's the next slide, but in my other presentation, I was able to see my next slides. I think it's pretty simple. So I'm asking you guys, so what are things that we can do to reflect this great gift that we have of life? Any ideas? I know you already do it. 'Cause I see you.
Exercise.
Exercise, yeah.
She's one of our gym instructors at Solomia.
So eating, exercise, bodily things, and then spiritual. And,
That's right,
and
yeah.
mind. There's so many people in mind, I don't know what you call it, chaos right now.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah. So just before getting to the different things that we could do, I was thinking about why people who are faithful tend to be healthier than others. Or there's studies that have shown that faithful people tend to be healthier. And I think it's because, and what I've read as well, we have less stress because we believe in a greater good. We believe in a God that we trust to take care of things. So imagine if you don't have that, there's this fear of like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen, versus I know it's gonna work out because because God, I believe in God, I have my faith that God's gonna make everything turn out right. Also, when you have faith, it can give you a sense of purpose and meaning in life sometimes. It helps you to kind of drive home. And I find that people who have a purpose or have a meaning, they tend to be, their mindset tends to be more so of, I'm gonna get this done, if I'm gonna get this done, then you tend to be healthier. Like the thinking, the positivity in terms of your thinking tends to be better than if you don't have a meaning in life. Also, being around a community of like-minded people is helpful. So imagine if you didn't have your church friends, your church community, your Bible group, your Bible study, how your life would be. So I think those are one of the few reasons why people who are faithful tend to be healthier. You guys think of any other reasons why?
Yeah, I thought at one time that if there was no God, I'd still go to church.
Oh, because of the
Oh,
community.
That
the
just
community.
spot hit me, that I would still go. That's kind of weird, I know.
Was it because of the community?
Yeah.
I can see that. And
On having a sense of purpose, I've always thought I had a sense of purpose in my life until my husband died. And then Mark Miller and Lois Lerner were teaching Grief Share. And Mark twisted my arm to join the group, and I said, I was a geriatric care manager, I know all about that stuff, I don't need it. But then I felt, well, all right, I'll give it a try, just kind of obligated. And the whole purpose of that is to take you from grief to joy, and the way they do it is through a sense of meaning and purpose in life. So you come from your place of grief, where you just, mind's going around in circles, even though I had faith, but that instruction was amazing. And it was having the meaning and purpose in life. And we literally all graduated. Not that you're ever over grief, But I didn't realize, I just thought, well, meaning and purpose, I'll always have that, but you can lose it.
Yeah.
And the church brought all of us back to the point where we healed.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. So we actually got this. What actions you do to maintain yourself, and we talked about exercise, talk about coming to church even if there isn't.
Sorry about that.
No, that was
I didn't
fine.
mess up the
No, it's fine. So here are different activities that we could do physically, and some of these you can actually drop off, and they can be both walking, jogging, biking, yoga, gardening, dancing. Because I know not everyone, when they hear exercise, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't like to exercise, but you may like dancing. Also, just even gardening or swimming, getting quality sleep, which a lot of people do not get.
Yeah.
And I was talking to, because I was having problems sleeping, and I didn't realize this. It's the phone, being on your phone late at night. It tricks your brain to thinking that it's midday. So if you're having problems sleeping, don't go on your phone. Having proper hydration. A lot of us are dehydrated and we don't realize that. Like, I'm pretty certain I'm dehydrated right now because I don't drink enough water. Also, the foods we eat. You want more quality, non-processed foods. So many of us are eating it's not even food. Like, I think 100 years ago, they would look at that and say, what is that? And on the mentally, spiritually, emotional side, just prayer, meditation, deep breathing, and the daily devotional, laughter, not complaining that much, and maybe being around people who don't complain that much because it can almost slide into your whole psyche when you're around someone who complains a lot. Not worrying too much. Positive thinking, having a great circle of friends, and getting into nature. But a lot of these you could see kind of goes along with why people who are faithful tend to be healthier, because you've got the great circle of friends, less worry, there's that daily devotional, there's that prayer. So you see the overlap there. So we're actually going to practice a few of these. We're going to practice laughter. And I got some corny jokes. We're gonna do some deep breathing. We're gonna do a meditation. I'm just gonna take you into nature via a picture. I wish we can go outside, but it's gonna be a picture.
I wanted to say something about the physical aspects, even though they're not so much spiritual, but a lot of young people do everything on that list. I can't read all the details, but they don't eat properly. And that negates anything else they're doing.
Yeah.
You just think, they're actually, and I'm not a big eco person, but you really can see how it's poisoning and weakening. So on the one side, they're exerting themselves, on the other side, they're poisoning themselves.
Yeah.
And it's scary. We need to go back to natural gardens. Well, with the food crisis, we're definitely gonna have to start growing our own. But it's unfortunate that young people, it's again the superficial stuff
Right.
they're interested in, but they don't go deeper to what makes you healthy.
That's such a good point. I have a niece who, she's an athlete and she exercises, and she's a pescatarian, so she doesn't eat red meat, but she eats fish. But she was eating one of those whatever burger things, and I said, do you know what's in that? And she said, no, but it's not meat. But I said, but do you know what's in it? But I think, what's that?
Plant-based.
But what is it? And she doesn't know what's in it, but she figured, oh, it's healthy because it's not meat. And that's the thinking about it. It's not like you said, deeper thinking. And also, when you read labels, it's kind of scary when you see what's in there, because you think it's healthy, but then if it's a word that has all the letters in the alphabet in it, it's like this long, it probably isn't. And I was watching a documentary on just our foods. We have so much sugar now in our diet that they didn't have 100 years ago. That it's sad. Because you see all the diabetes and all the different health issues that are popping up. So foods is such a major issue, and I don't think people realize how major it is.
Well, there is some good news.
It's not.
Krispy Kreme actually uses potato potato starch in their donuts, so it's not all sugar.
Okay.
Just-
We're in town for lunch.
It's
For those of you who eat a Krispy Kreme, rest assured it's not all sugar.
just trying to help out.
Go to the potato and help out.
There's the lettuce between 10 donuts.
Last night, I work at Universal, okay, part-time. Last night, AEW, all the wrestlers were out there, okay, because they were getting ready for their show. And we had someone that I was working with, he's short, and he stopped and he said, they were all looking at me like, they're jealous. I got my French fry here. He said, I got my dessert here on my left side. He was so funny. But he said, they're all jealous of me.
Doubt it.
But there's a thing with,
He's young,
like
you
in
know.
New York and Chicago and some of the larger cities, Detroit, is that they have what they call food deserts. And so a lot of the folks in the inner city can't get fresh vegetables, can't get anything because the stores aren't there. And so what they're wound up with is McDonald's and Burger King and
Yeah.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, because there's no place for them to shop.
Yeah.
And that was in Buffalo where they just had that shooting. That one Tops store was the only grocery store in that area that people could get to. And their biggest concern, or I heard a number of people when they were interviewing, their biggest concern is, you don't close it. It's the only place I can get food. And so when you look at this, you also have to look at, well, where are the deserts? I mean, we have a Publix, but right next to the Publix is we've got a Quiznos, and right across the street we have all the other stuff. So it's also the availability, and that's probably one of the things we really need to focus on, is the availability of food, as opposed to the availability of fast food.
Yeah, that's true. And also, within the availability, the choices that you have. Because I've seen things where sometimes, although I'm sure it's not the healthiest, like there's a salad at one of those places, but they won't go for the salad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll still go for the thing that's not, the least healthy on the menu. Well, that's so true, because I remember my mother was telling me about a blackout in the 70s in Brooklyn, and at the end of there was a lot of looting, what have you, so they lost supermarkets, and they didn't have a lot of options afterwards. And I guess you had to leave, you had to go into the neighborhood, I guess, I'm not sure, to go shopping. I'm sorry, you had your...
No, only one comment. We can complain maybe that we cannot buy a 35 million car, but in this area, still there are stored resources. We have money to buy. What about a big percentage, even we don't know, the US people doesn't have the money, or don't have the money to buy healthy food.
Yeah.
They have to buy the cheap food and it's no good.
They buy the big packet donuts and.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I think Ann mentioned about the community gardens. I think that's a really good idea. I think people, I'm hoping with everything that's going on, people maybe get back to trying to grow. I know that can't happen everywhere, but knowing your food sources and growing your own foods, and maybe even making a community effort. Someone focuses on this, and then someone else focuses on that, and so that you're not dependent on what they have at the store, and also you know the source of it. I think we've gotten too far away from our food source and not knowing where it's coming from. Because the community of it. So my mother is from Jamaica, and she told me how they go outside and just pick mangoes from the tree, and it's like the best mangoes ever. Like better than what you get at the stores. And even up north, my sister-in-law is in New Jersey, and obviously they have cold weather in New Jersey, but she has a nice garden. She sent us a picture of her produce. I thought she went to a farmer's market and brought them out, but she said, no, this is from the backyard. And it's just all her growing of it. Again, she knows the source, she knows how it's grown. There's no pesticides, she's not using any of that. So it'd be nice if we got back to that. And maybe even learning it in school, learning, as a skill in school.
Maybe we need more places like the church, bringing the type of message of healthy food, growth hormone in your house, because I know institutions like American Heart, they have programs to go to the people with very low resources, to the school, to teach them to prepare their own garden. And sometimes they give them even the tools.
That's a good idea. We know someone in Coral Springs who does a community outreach where he teaches people, I think, is it teenagers, how to grow their own garden. Because he was growing his garden in New Jersey and having food eating from it. So that's a really good idea. That might be a suggestion. Look at your guys' direction.
Celebration's a good place for.
You have a
It's
garden?
in a balcony, a large balcony. And I will try anything if I find, anything I find that's really, or plants that I find that somebody grew out, I bring them back to life. Okay, most of them are flowers, but I have tomatoes. First time I've ever really done it. Then I had my brother in California, he has, of course, it's a beautiful yard and everything grows good. But I have one about this tall, and they have little green ones right now. This is my first time I've had this, and pretty soon I'm gonna have tomatoes.
I know, it's exciting when you grow your own food. It's like, oh my gosh, I grew this.
And I know where we are, we're on the third floor, we're high up, but I don't get a lot of light. So I had to put it in one corner, and I'm very careful with it and everything, but it's joy. I feel really good when I go out there. It's like going out to God.
Yeah.
Yeah, like heaven. It's just wonderful. It is. If you're upset or anything, you just go out there and just, And my flowers, I have all kinds of flowers.
Yeah. It can be very calming too. And
Yeah,
I
it's
think I've
very
read that
calming.
there's something about getting your hands in that dirt as well that's
Yeah,
helpful for you.
right. All my life though, I had been a gardener, and when I was a child, my mother had done that, but I just always liked to do that. So I finally had at least, because I don't live, obviously, with a house anymore. It's joy to have it, and I can look out, I can lake, everything right in front, and it's really good. Birds, it brings birds. Hummingbirds came by the tomatoes twice, and one of them went right by my face.
Wow.
They were so
Yes,
cute.
bird.
Yeah, so see, it's a good thing, it's a very, I don't know how to say it. It just makes you feel happy and good,
Getting out into nature.
Yeah,
That's
nature.
the other ones, getting out into nature. It's very calming. See, even hear the bird chirping, the birds chirping is very calming.
Do you offer your services to others?
Sure.
Yeah, all our patios could use something.
You're close by.
All right, so we're gonna do a few of those wellness suggestions. So we're gonna do laughter now. These are corny. The biblical corny jokes. So what excuse, for those who can't read it, what excuse did Adam give to his children as to why he no longer lived in Eden? Your mother ate us out of house and home. So what did Adam say on the day before Christmas? It's Christmas Eve. So why did they play cards on the ark? Because Noah was standing on the deck. And why couldn't Jonah trust the ocean? Because he knew there was something fishy about it. So just laughing helps our well-being. And I wanted to preface that with, saying I know it's corny. But it made me chuckle when I saw it, and I was hoping it made you chuckle too. So this actually goes a bit to what Seal was talking about with doing the gardening, just being out in nature. And I was reading actually that even just viewing nature scenes can reduce anger, stress, and just increase pleasant feelings, I think is what Seal was going for. and can just lower blood pressure. And we live in an area where we're not too far away from many beautiful places. Even just walking around Celebration's beautiful, or even Sola Vida is nice. You can, or Bach Tower, one of my favorite places in Florida. Just walking around Bach Tower, it's just something about when you walk, you get out your car, something about the air there. I went to a special within the tower, and this man said he's been coming to Bach Tower for the past, I think he said 50 years or 40 years, and he would bring his sons, his 3 young sons who were ages between like 6 and 10. In the car, they'd be fighting each other, you know, punching each other. And then when they got out the car, he said there's something just came over them where they were calm and they were peaceful and they were just like different children. So there's something about being in nature. Although I feel like Bach Tower is special, but there's something about being in nature that just helps your overall, you know, feel in terms of feeling pleasant, just feeling happy and at ease.
Going back to children again, so few are in nature.
I know. I've had that conversation a few times with, I used to just go outside and play.
Right.
And I don't think that exists really anymore. Because I was saying to my mom, like, the only time I was inside was Saturday morning watching cartoons, and then afterwards I was just outside playing.
The computer.
Yeah, the computer, the tablet, the phone. Yeah, and I think it's actually kind of sad, because I think they're missing out. All right, so yoga increases strength, improves balance, and stretches the muscles, and can be done reclined, seated, or standing. So you guys ready to do some yoga?
Sure.
We're gonna be doing a split. Hopefully we'll all loosen up. No, just joking. So this is where I was gonna sit, but I'll do this standing. So we're just gonna do some stretches for the neck, and also some stretches for the back, where we tend to get stiff. So just wanna give yourselves just a little bit of space, and maybe one of you may wanna, if you're right next to someone, one stays forward, one moves back. So a lot of us, when we're stiff and tight, almost seems to translate to how we are in personality-wise, to how our mood is. But if you're relaxed, oftentimes we tend to be relaxed in our mood. So we're going to work on the areas, as I mentioned, that tends to get tight, the neck and the back. We're also going to work in our breathing as well. So we're going to inhale, and then as you exhale, just I'll be your mirror image, take your right ear towards your right shoulder. And just feel that stretch along the side of your neck. Now be mindful that you're not lifting your shoulder up, you're just keeping it down and relaxed. And then you're going to very slowly bring the crown of your head forward towards me, taking your left ear towards your left shoulder. Still keeping your shoulders relaxed. And your face is still facing towards me, it's just your ear going towards your shoulder. And notice if you feel a difference from one side to the other. We often tend to be tighter on one side. And then very slowly bring the crown of your head forward again towards me, taking your right ear towards your right shoulder. Still keep the shoulders relaxed, relax the shoulders. And then let's inhale, bring the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. So we're gonna do the other side now. So exhale, take your left ear towards your left shoulder. And we're just doing a half of a neck roll, so very slowly bring the crown of your head forward and feel that stretch. And notice where you're feeling any tightness. And take your right ear towards your right shoulder. Again, keep your shoulders relaxed. Now bring the crown of your head forward again towards me, going very, very slowly. Taking your left ear towards your left shoulder. And then on your next inhalation, bring the crown of your head so it's facing the ceiling. And then just exhale. So your gaze is forward. Now let's inhale with your shoulders up. And then just exhale, drop the shoulders. Let's do that again. Inhale with the shoulders up. And exhale, drop the shoulders. And let's just do some shoulder circles. I'm hoping I'm not messing this up, because I touched it a few times by accident. So you can do both shoulders at the same time, or one shoulder at a time, whichever way you prefer. And it's just simple things that you can do. You don't have to go to a yoga class for this. You can do this at home watching TV. Now let's go in the other direction. So you can do both shoulders at the same time, or one shoulder at a time. And just this.
Every now and then I feel a creak.
Oh, that's okay.
I hear it.
Shake it out. I had a massage therapist tell me, you're not creaking, you're releasing. That's what it means.
Is that what it is?
So from here, be mindful you don't hit your neighbor. Let's inhale, bring your arms up. If that's comfortable for you, if it's not, don't worry about this. Inhale, interlace your fingers and press your palms up towards the ceiling. And just stretch towards your right. And if this is uncomfortable, you can just be here with one hand.
Should we be breathing a certain way when we're doing this?
So you're gonna inhale, come on up, in through your nose, out through your nose. And then exhale, stretch to your left. And be mindful of the arms coming forward. Try to keep your arms open. Now stretch your side more. And let's inhale, come back to the center. And then exhale, round your back and bring your arms forward. As though you're giving someone a hug. Relax the shoulders. And let's inhale, come back up. And then next you're gonna take your hands down behind you. You can either have your palms facing or just have your hands on your chair, or you can interlace your fingers. And this is a stretch we often don't do. Interlace your or roll your shoulders rather back and down and stretch your chest. So the chest often does not get stretched because so many of us are so rounded forward. So be mindful of your neck going back. Keep your head lifted as an extension of your spine. And then on your next inhalation is come up to vertical. Lift the shoulders up. And exhale, drop the shoulders. All right, so from here, cross. This is where I'd be seated. So cross your right thigh over your left. I'm just crossing legs. You're gonna inhale, reach up again. And then exhale, let's twist towards the right. And roll your right shoulders back and down. You can take your hands all the way down. You can rest on your chair, on your lap, whatever feels good. You want your back to be straight and shoulders relaxed. Relax the shoulders. I think sometimes when we think of yoga, we start getting stiff because we're nervous and just relax, we're just twisting. And let's inhale, come back to the center. Bring your arms up, and then exhale, bring your arms down and twist in the opposite direction. And roll your left shoulder back and down. So relax your arms. Relax the shoulders, bring your hands down all the way down. And let's inhale, come back to the center, bring your arms up. And then just exhale and bring your arms down. So we do that again with the legs crossed the other way. The same thing. Let's inhale. And then exhale, twist to your left. We're going to go sides, so if you're going the other direction, that's okay. So roll your left shoulder back and down. Bring your hands all the way down, so it's resting on your chair, on your lap, or on the table, whatever feels good. So what we're just doing is taking the spine in all different directions. So we went lateral, we went front to back, and then we rotated. Because often, many of us, we're seated for long periods of time. The back gets stiff. So doing this every hour or so helps keep the back loose. Let's inhale, come back to the center. And then exhale, bring your hands all the way down. Just rest your hands down and roll your right shoulder back and down. So we're out of directions. So we're almost done with this. And let's inhale, come back to the center, bring your arms up. And then exhale, take your arms down. And just one more time, keeping your arms alongside your body. Let's inhale, the shoulders up. And then exhale, down the shoulders. Very good. That was your seated yoga practice. Do you guys want to do splits? We can do the splits if you want.
I want them to do it.
So next time, we'll do that next time.
We'll watch you.
In the estate planning course, we'll do splits. I'll look at it. All right. We're getting close to time. So breathing, it's over 11:45.
You're okay.
Okay. So I just have two more things. So breathing, and this may sound silly. A lot of us tend to hold our breath, and we don't realize that we are. I have a feeling a few of you may have been holding your breath just now. And we tend to do that because we're concentrating so hard that we forget to breathe. So breathing is a way to release stress. Because think about when someone is upset. We tell them, take a few deep breaths. Calm down, take a few deep breaths. My mom's a retired nurse, and she's dealt with people hyperventilating, and they're breathing in the chest, and they're not getting their breath deep down. So we're just gonna practice a few moments of deep breathing, because as I have here, stimulates the lymphatic system, relieves pain, lowers blood pressure, and can improve digestion, because when you push your breath deep down, you're actually moving the belly. So the belly's gonna go in and out. diaphragm is low. Think about babies. The way babies breathe, you see the little bellies go up and down, up and down. They have very flexible diaphragms. They're not shallow breathing the way many of us do. So we're going to practice a few moments of deep breathing. So take your right hand and place your hand over your navel. And I'm just going to count while you're breathing. So I'm going to count to 4, and you want to relax though. So you're really kind of like this, so you want to relax. So I'm going to count to 4, you're going to inhale to 4. Then I'll count to 4 again, you're going to exhale to that count of 4. You're going to hold your breath just during those moments when I'm not counting, but I will be counting most of the time, so you're going to be breathing most of the time. If my count doesn't work for you, just go to a lower count that does. We're going to start with an exhalation. That's not with the count. It's to make room for all this cleansing air we're about to breathe in. So let's exhale, draw your navel in. Exhale, keep exhaling, keep exhaling. And let's inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to stop there. So when you're breathing for the count of 4, sometimes what happens is we take in everything on that first count. Think of it as when you're deflating a balloon and you're controlling the air that's coming out of the balloon. So you want to control the timing of the air. So you want to inhale for the entire count of 4 and exhale for the entire count of 4. So we'll try that again. Also, be mindful that the shoulders aren't going up and you're not getting stiff here. So relax the shoulders. So roll the shoulders back and down so you're relaxed. Let's exhale. So draw your navel in. Exhale. Keep exhaling. Keep exhaling. We'll do 4. So let's inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try 5 once. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's close it out with 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I recommend practicing that breathing. You can do it before going to sleep at night. I've been told it helps people to fall asleep. I do that at the end of all of my yoga classes. It's very relaxing because if you haven't done yoga before, at the end of most yoga classes, you have a period called relaxation where you do nothing but just relax. Close your eyes if you want. And that breathing helps people to relax. So just imagine doing that before going to sleep. It's more challenging doing it upright. So if you're reclined, you're probably able to inhale and exhale for a longer duration. Did anyone find that challenging, inhaling for a count of 4 or 5? Yeah. Try it reclined. You're gonna be surprised that you probably go up to 6 or 7 reclined. Just a different feel. You can also practice that when you're just driving around. I often tell people, when you're going to Publix, just practice your inhalations and exhalations, and over time your diaphragm's going to become more flexible. You're going to be able to inhale and exhale for longer periods. All right. I feel like I'm missing something with the breathing. It'll come to me. So our final practice we're going to do is meditation. I think a lot of people think of meditation, they think of some guy in the woods with a long braid coming down his back. The moon's out in the distance and he's just out in nature. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't even have to be this way. You don't have to be on the floor with your dog next to you. You can wherever's comfortable for you. I tend to meditate with classical music on the back, to something that's relaxing for me. And it's just a way to, you can focus your mind on a single thought, a single object, a single emotion. It's just a way to calm down. And again, here you see the different benefits to practicing meditation. And I actually have a meditation here for us that I wrote. That's be very quick. So if you feel comfortable, if you can close your eyes, and part of the reason why you're closing your eyes so you don't have any visual distractions. You want to feel comfortable, so you want to feel comfortable, but try to be as upright as possible in your chair. Good. So shoulders relaxed, face is relaxed. So I'll start. So we are living in interesting times. which often seems to counter biblical teachings. We were intentionally, uniquely made, yet we often try to hide our uniqueness. Life is precious, yet we sometimes place more value on objects. Isaiah 5:20 says, "Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil." That puts darkness for light and light for darkness. That puts bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. In this meditation, we will focus on the preciousness and sacredness of life. As you breathe deeply and listen to the verses that will be read, feel the words and allow the energy of the verses to resonate within you. Let's breathe deeply together and relax as we receive God's truths. You are beautifully and uniquely made. Genesis tells us that human life is sacred, made in the very image of the Creator himself, and a gift for all. Continue to breathe deeply, and I invite you to take a moment to think about the sacredness of your life, as stated in Genesis. Now relax your shoulders back and down again. And as you hear the words from John, God considers your life valuable and precious. Continue to breathe deeply with relaxed shoulders as you take a moment to think about the value and preciousness of life as stated in John. Now continue to relax your shoulders, your neck, jaw, your eyes, and your forehead as you hear the words from Psalm chapter 139, verses 13 through 15. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Continue to breathe deeply in this relaxed state. And allow these words to resonate within your soul. Visualize and imagine God's massive creation, like the pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, with you being one of the pieces, unique from all other pieces and priceless. Let's take a few more moments here in this meditation. Very slowly open your eyes. How do we feel? Relax, good. Well, we've reached our conclusion. There was one final slide, but for some reason it didn't pop up, or it didn't go over. So, think of yourselves, know that you are sacred, you're priceless, you're valuable, made in God's image. And we're worth far more than any car, than any diamond that's out there. And there's so many ways that we have to maintain ourselves, preserve ourselves with our community, with our food, with our choices, our exercises, our activities. So thank you so much for having me.